Good morning, everyone. My name is MG Govia. I'm the Education and Outreach Liaison for OKIE811. Renee Collier is also around. She's going to be helping us out if there's any questions or if you have any questions on the one gas side as well. I really appreciate y'all joining us this morning. It is bright and early, right at 8 a.m., so I appreciate you jumping on. Um, if you have not used the GoToWebinar interface before, there's that orange arrow. That's pretty much the key thing. If the interface disappears on you, just click that orange arrow and it'll come right back. Also, there's a questions module. You can ask your questions through that. Just send them our way, and then that way we can get those answered here in a little bit. A little bit about me. I've been with OKIE811 for 8 years now. I started as a CSR processing locate requests, worked my way into member services. I did some GIS work, which is mapping, and then got an education opportunity with the company, and then just went from membership education to event planning to now get to be the liaison over all of education and outreach, and it's a lot of fun. Best decision I made. If you would have told me 10 years ago that I would have a job where I talked about digging a lot, I would have laughed at you, but it turned out to be a really rewarding career, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. So let's kind of dive into this. OKIE811, we are the call before you dig company of Oklahoma. Our mission is to provide quality underground damage prevention services, and our value statement is delivering excellence through honesty, integrity, and having a highly engaged workforce in a fun and supportive workplace. OKIE811 is part of Common Ground Alliance. Common Ground Alliance is this organization that is more than nationwide, over North America and some other countries as well, where they promote safe digging. And they have a video that they put together. It's right about 6 minutes, I believe. That kind of gives a really big overview of the 811 purpose and goal. So I'm going to play that video, and then as soon as that video ends, then I'll kind of drill down to Oklahoma specific information. So let me get that video started for us. All right, I appreciate that video. It was a little bit longer than I remember. I thought it was only like 6 minutes, so I apologize for the length on it, but I hope that you got all the information you need out of it. Like I said, that is a general overview of the A11 process, the 5 steps to safer digging. I'm going to drill that into Oklahoma's laws and best practices as well to kind of illustrate that. There are some things that are different. For instance, in Oklahoma, the amount of notification you can give is more than 2 days and stuff like that. So we'll be diving into that. So let me tell you a little bit about OKIE811. We started in 1979. We are a nonprofit organization. We're not a charitable organization. We're a member funded organization. In other words, the utility companies sign up to be members of our notification system. And when they become members, they pay for the operating costs through a fee schedule based on how many tickets they receive. So the operating cost is taken care of by that. Because we are a nonprofit organization, we do have to have a board of directors that handles the business decisions of the company. And then we have an operating committee that handles the operations decisions of the company. That operating committee is made up of industry advisors, both on the excavating or contracting side, as well as our utility companies that are members as well. We do work with quite a few volunteers from our member organizations through excavators who are promoting the safe digging message and others throughout the state of Oklahoma. We are a relatively small company. A lot of people assume that we're much larger than we are. We only have 62 employees. A majority of those are going to be the contact center, those who are processing those locate requests as they come in. And then we have our corporate staff, myself, HR, IT, business, all that good stuff. We have been voted Oklahoma Top Workplace 5 of the last 6 years. And if you are ever in Oklahoma City, come and visit us. We'll be happy to show off our offices. Just let me know so that I can meet you up there. I'm working from home like most people are right now, but we'll be happy to show you our office when things get back to normal. The Oklahoma Underground Facilities Damage Prevention Act is why OKIE811 exists. This law was written in the early 80s. It became effective in 1982. It is based around 2 major principal points. One is that all the operators and owners of underground facilities should participate with the notification center. And to participate, they have to have on file with us where their underground facilities are located, and then what personnel to contact when a digging is going to take place near those underground facilities. Then for that to work, all excavators need to give us a call to let us know that digging is going to take place. They are to give us a call no more than 10 days, nor less than 48 hours, excluding the date of notification, Saturdays, Sundays, and legal holidays before excavation. A way to simplify that, 3 business days is the minimum notice that you can give. So if you call in on a Monday, the earliest that your company could do any excavation would be Thursday morning at 7 a.m. because Monday doesn't count because that's the date of notification. Tuesday and Wednesday are the 48 hours. 7 a.m. is the earliest that you could begin excavation. However, in Oklahoma, because of the phrasing of you must give no more than 10 days, we allow you to let us know if you're going to be digging more than 3 business days away. So same phone call on Monday, you give us a call and say, you know what, I'm not going to be digging until a week from today, so I'm not going to begin until next Monday. You can do that. You just gave a full week notice that gives the member companies until the following Monday to have that area located, and you do not have a valid ticket until the work time to begin is on your ticket. So you would not have a valid ticket till that following Monday. So a lot of people ask, what does this look like? How much underground facilities are there in the state of Oklahoma? And I made a slide to represent that. So let's look at what Oklahoma's registration looks like. this is telecommunications. As you can see, it's pretty much the entire state. Pipeline, of course. Electric services, rural water systems. Those are our municipalities and the utilities they provide. And then other, which is pretty much private property, hospitals, campuses, farms with their irrigation systems. So as you can tell, the entire state has plenty of underground facilities. So there's not a reason to avoid calling to give us a chance to help protect those underground facilities. So how does it work? Well, it begins by contacting OKIE811. You may notice that we use the word contact a lot more than the word call. OKIE811 takes locate requests by either the phone calls or by going online to our website or by using the mobile app. Currently, 70% of all locate requests are put in through one of the electronic methods, either online or through their mobile app. And then just give us the time that we require, the no more than 10 days and no less than 48 hours, excluding the date of notification, weekends, and holidays. And then we will create or generate a locate request. A locate request is the excavator's copy. It's the so kind of like a work order that goes out to the member companies, let them know that digging is going to take place, and we're going to map out the dig site described by the excavator, and then that ticket number is provided to the excavator who's making the request. Then we're going to send notifications out. We are a notification center. We're going to send the locate request to the members that are in that respective area based on that dig site polygon that was drawn. And an average of 6 members are notified per ticket. Just last year, we processed just shy of 1 million locate requests. So that means almost 6 million notifications were sent out. So that's crazy just how busy the whole process is. So each member is to respond to the request prior to the work to begin date and time. Like the example I was given earlier about the following Monday, you cannot begin until the work to begin date and time, which would be that Monday at whatever time you said you were going to be starting. The member companies are going to come out. They're going to mark the approximate location of the underground facilities. They're going to use the APWA uniform color code with paint, flags, and stakes. They're then responsible to communicate with the excavator. They're either going to make that phone call or send an email to let you know of an all clear status, or if you need to meet on site, or if they're just questions regarding the locate request as well. Then the excavator's responsibility is to confirm the area before digging. First of all, I know we stress it, but you must wait the required time before digging. In the latest dirt report, which is a damage report that CGA puts out, 17% of all damages when a locate request was called in happened prior to the valid start date of a ticket or digging after a ticket expired. So being aware of an active ticket, making sure that the lines are updated and freshly marked is very important, and most importantly, waiting until the ticket is valid. So must wait that required time before digging. You need to ensure that you receive response from each member that's on the ticket, and then of course dig those test holes. Make sure that the facilities are located in that tolerance area or that approximate location by digging straight down below the markings. You should be able to find it within 2 feet either side of the marking. A couple things to keep in mind. Private lines do not get marked. Slight caveat there. Some private lines do get marked, but anytime they do, it's a company going above and beyond. Requirements by law is to mark anything that they own or maintain. So if a electric line or plumbing or gas goes from what is owned and maintained by the member company and turns over to the property owner, those lines are considered private. They are not the responsibility of the member company to mark those lines. And then OKIE811 my company, we are not the ones who do the locating. We are a notification center. We take the inbound call from the excavator. And then we notify the member companies where that digging is going to take place. And then the member companies are ultimately responsible for getting that area marked. They may do it in-house with their own employees, or they may hire a third party, such as like USIC or Gridhawk or one of the other locating companies to go out and do that for them. We talked real quick earlier about the ticket entry methods. 70% is mobile app or web tickets. That's huge. It gives the efficiency there for you. You can do your tickets at midnight if you need to. It is available 24/7, 365 for all normal locate requests and updates. You'll be able to update tickets for the last 30 days submitted by your company. So if Renee and I work for the same plumbing company, she could have the ticket originally, create it, and then need to turn it over to me because she has another job to do. Then I can go in, find Renee's ticket, change it over to my information, and update the ticket for the next time. So that's also really cool when you have more than one person put in locate requests for your company. And then, of course, because it is online, you have the ability to use the mapping feature, so you can actually pinpoint your own dig site before submitting it, so you know exactly that you're in the right area. And of course, no hold times. Dialing 811, that is going to be a necessity if you are doing any emergency requests, second or third notices, demolition notices, damage report tickets, or wildland fire notifications. And we'll dive into what those tickets are here in just a moment, but those are the only ones you can't submit online. If people could throw online emergency locate requests, it would burst up the seam. So we avoid that. We want to have the justification through that phone conversation to make sure that they're valid emergency or second or third notices. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you're calling outside of business hours, only the emergency and wildland fire notification tickets would be accepted. So what does a ticket look like when it gets processed? This is an example of an area of Oklahoma City, I-35 running north and south there. A pipeline company gives us a call and they let us know that they have a pipeline that runs kind of parallel with I-35 north and south here. And so they provided to us what's called center line data. And then we put a buffer 500 feet either side of that. That buffer is a CGA best practice. This gives a service area of 1,000-foot path for the length of that line that if digging is taking place near it, they would receive a ticket. Another company gives us a call, they're well, so they provide what's called center point data. And then we add a 500-foot radius around that as well for its buffer. The next company is a wind farm. It has a whole bunch of turbines, and they say instead of providing you all the GPS references, we're going to ask that you just let us know when digging is going to take place within these 6 quarter sections. A quarter section is a half mile by half mile square. So we do not need to add any additional buffer to that. If they were even 1 foot into another quarter section, we would have had to add the whole half mile by half mile square. So a developer calls, lets us know that he's going to be doing some digging. They're going to put in a new mall, a new mall right there. So they work with our CSRs. They provide a dig site polygon, and this is what the CSR draws. Another CGA best practice is adding 300 feet on all sides of the dig site polygon. You have to remember when the best practices for CGA were written, 80% of locate requests are done over the phone, not online. So that 300-foot buffer is literally there because of the telephone game, right? So just to make up for those who may not know the difference between a 1/6 or an 1/8 of a mile, or 300 or 600 feet. So we put that on here to cover that. So in this example, the pipeline company, the well company, as well as the wind farm will all receive a locate request to let the excavator know where their underground facilities are. Ticket types. First is a normal or compliant ticket. This is when the first request is compliant with the law, and they're providing at least 48 hours notice prior to excavation, not including the date of notification or weekends and state holidays, and it's not more than 10 business days prior to excavation. So this is a majority of our tickets, of course. An update locate request is when that project is not going to be done within 10 business days. So they update the ticket every 7th business day until the project is complete. Another thing to keep in mind with the updates, the 10th business day starts from the work begin date and time. So in our example that we've been using, if I'm starting on the following Monday, then it's 10 days from the following Monday is my window of my active ticket. It's from when the members had until to get it marked, and then 10 days from it. So if you pop your head up from the project and you realize you're not going to be done within 10 business days of when you started, then you need to update the ticket on the 7th business day to give that minimum of 3 business days. So there's an overlap there. If there isn't an overlap, then by law, you should stop working and wait for the new ticket to be a valid locate request. So let's dive into emergency locate requests. This is where I kind of get on a soapbox for just a moment. Emergency locate requests are an unavoidable situation that endangers life, health, or property. It is an unavoidable situation that endangers life, health, or property. One more time. Unavoidable situation that endangers life, health, or property. A lot of times, emergency locate requests may get called in because of lack of planning, perhaps because there's equipment or tools that were rented, or maybe someone forgot to call in the locate request to begin with, and now you're on site. All those things, we need to look at the justification and then the time frame for an emergency locate request. If digging does need to take place because there is an endangerment to life, health, or property, then by all means call in an emergency request. That's what they're there for. But we want to be able to provide the justification and a correct time frame. In the larger areas of Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Lawton, there is now a push for utility companies that see fraudulent locate requests to be able to pass on the charges to the request. So what I mean by justification and time frame is if let's do justification first. I need to repair a fence. Well, we'll obviously question how that endangers life, health, or property. If you then let us know, hey, I'm repairing a fence because my cattle is getting out, now we're endangering the property of the cattle, right? So we need to help you get that fence back up. So that is truly an emergency. Okay. So now we got to the justification. It is an emergency because we were protecting the cattle. Total makes sense. Now it is the time frame. When are you going to begin that project? Usually they're going to say something along the lines of as soon as possible, right now, yesterday, but we're going to ask for as much time as possible to give the member companies an opportunity to protect their underground facilities. And so if you know that you're going to have to get some equipment together, get some help, all that thing, and you're not going to be able to begin, if you're not going to be able to begin for a few hours, then let us know that. That gives the member companies that much more time to knock it out. So timing is also important, because if you say 2 hours and all the member companies drop everything they're doing to get over there within the 2 hours, and it's not an emergency and no one's there to even begin work, that can be a fraudulent locate request. So emergency, unavoidable situation that endangers life, health, or property, and they give as much notice as possible before you are going to begin working. It is an exception to the 48 hours notice. You are still required to dig with care, and this is also where wildland fire notifications fall into place. A second or third notice. This is when a ticket is resent to members who have not This is when a ticket is resent to members who have not marked their lines. So you waited till the following Monday, like you're supposed to. You get out to the job site, and somebody hasn't responded to a locate request. There's been, crickets on that ticket. Then you can call in a second or third notice. Keep in mind, if you are in communication with the company, USIC calls and say, hey, I know you're supposed to be in at 10 a.m. on Monday. We can't be there until noon, but we're going to try to get it knocked out before then. If you're in communication, then the second or third notice isn't necessary unless they do not get there when they say they're going to be there. They say, hey, we're going to be there at noon, and it's now 1 o'clock and you're still waiting on them. By all means, send in the second or third notice. That way you have documentation on your side. But if you're already in communication, please keep that up. That's the whole purpose of the locate request. Demolition request. Probably not anyone on this call is going to be doing this, but I'll go into this. It's real quick. 7 business days notice that a demolition is going to take place. Then you're going to let us know so that the utilities can unhook or disengage from that property or that building. And then the excavator then will call prior to the demolition beginning, and that's the 3 business days. By giving us a call, that way you know where your heavy equipment can go, where any digging can take place if you're burying the structure next to it. Just a couple options there. A non-compliant locate request. No one on this call would ever do this because y'all are professionals and I trust you. But a non-compliant locate request is exactly what it says. It's not complying with the Oklahoma Underground Facilities Damage Prevention Act. It is not about a locate request. Literally, you're giving us your name and address to let us know that you're breaking the law. That's what a non-compliant locate request is. Usually what happens is this is for homeowners that go to Lowe's and rent some equipment. They call us on Friday, let us know that they're putting in a tree on Saturday. So those non-compliant tickets do happen. Usually, like I said, the not professionals, but it is a courtesy notification. Hopefully, if there is some high consequence area or high danger in the area, the member companies will respond. Finally, damage report. Damage report is letting us know that you've discovered damage, not necessarily that you caused damage. So if you find a broken pedestal or a pole down or an exposed cable or pipeline, you can let us know. Just call 811 just like you would, and just let us know the damage that you've discovered. If it is damage that was caused on one of your work or that happened on one of your work sites, you can let us know and we can reference back out to the locate request. That way we can link those two together so the locators can have some information as well. So it's very handy. We also can help you determine what was on site. If you're in the area, you're like, hey, I can tell this is obviously cable of some kind, telecommunications of some kind, but I don't know if it's COTS or AT&T or whatever. We can also help find that information for you as well. And then next is the kind of the fill in the gaps. There's the law, like I said earlier, was written in the early 80s. There's just technology and things that just weren't in around back then. I doubt those in the early 80s understood just how huge the fiber networks and the communication networks would be, or cross boring, or anything like that. Directional drilling, all those things weren't around back then. So we have to kind of fill in the gaps. The law does get updated for some things, but these are some of the areas that best practice kind of have to fill in. First of all, I know I'm harp on it, but plan your work. Give us the amount of time that's required. No more than 10, nor less than 3 business days, right? You want to provide as accurate and specific information concerning the site and extent of the scope of work. Effective November 1st, there was a slight law change where a length of a ticket cannot be more than 500 feet in town. And so that is going to mean that you need to be pretty exact on exactly what work is going to be done where when putting in a locate request. Also, this is probably not applicable to my audience today, but also when it comes to its in scope of work, it also is the common sense stuff. If you're putting in a mailbox, we don't need to locate the backyard, right? So just some things to keep in mind there. We do want to have contact information for the person excavating on the site. There's two things to look at there. One, if office personnel is putting in your locate request, awesome. But they do need to put in who's at the job site. The reason being is nothing is more frustrating than a locator being on site, not knowing who to talk to, if they have questions, or if there's anything where there isn't any staff on site, they call back to the office trying to get some information. The office then has to call out to whoever is on site. So be sure to leave the on-site person contact as well. Then every excavator on the job needs a separate ticket number. Earlier, I talked about Renee and I being plumbers together. Well, let's say I leave the plumbing industry and I decide to be an electrician. And so now I'm an electrician, Renee's still a plumber, and she's killing it. Good for her. So she's has her plumbing company, I have my electric company, and we're both working on the same site. Because we aren't for the same company, each of us should have our own separate ticket number now. That way, her scope of work is for what she's doing as a plumber, what part of the yard she's in, all those things. And same thing for me. I'm an electrician. I'm over here. My scope of work is different. I might be coming to the home from a different angle, all those things. So also, if damages do occur, that makes it a whole lot easier. That way they don't have to go, did Renee, if I didn't have a ticket, Renee doesn't have to chase me down and get onto me for causing damage, right? So be sure if you're sharing a work site with another company that each company has their own ticket. Use white paint if possible. This is a best practice. It helps the locating communication so much to get that knocked out. So by providing that white paint, you can help them out tremendously. It's just a outline of your work area. You can draw a box around it. You can throw down flags around it. You can make a big circle, whatever is necessary to help out with that. Copy of the ticket should be on the job site. We don't mean that you need to get out the printer and print off every ticket that you receive. However, you do need to be able to pull it up so that ticket number available in your email or on your computer or laptop or phone so that you can look it up. This is important, especially with the Oklahoma Corporation Commission if they do any spot checks. You can be fined for not having a valid ticket on job site, so you want to have that available for them. The test holes is huge. Please take the time to verify the location. Those locators who come out, they're humans. Locating isn't perfect. It's good, but it's not perfect. So you want to be able to ensure that, yes, this is where this cable is, this is where that pipeline is, this is where that water line is, so that you can dig safely around it. If you do not find the precise location of an underground facility, please give us a call back. Put in that second or third notice so that we can get that locator back out to you to help find that. If damages do occur, call us. We talked about that moments ago. And then this is the common sense phrase of the day. Do not backfill a damaged area. You're not doing anybody any favors, I promise. It's only going to make the situation worse. What may look like a small nick may be thousands of dollars of repair or worse in the future. So please delay the backfilling, talk to the facility owners, let them come out and assist with that. So we talk about the tolerance zone. In Oklahoma, we are a 24-inch state. It varies state to state, so please keep that in mind if you travel out of Oklahoma to work. Get with that state's damage prevention law and see what it is. But for Oklahoma, we have a 24-inch tolerance zone. It begins on the locate. What that means is, in this example, you see that yellow line and that yellow flag. So there's a gas line underneath the ground. The locator has a 2 foot tolerance. on their locating. So you should be able to find that pipeline within 2 feet either side of the markings, digging down. Once you do find the facility, then the tolerance zone is the 2 feet either side of the outside edge of the facility. So if this is a 1 foot pipe, now it's a 5 foot path. That is the tolerance zone, where no automated or mechanical equipment should be used within that tolerance zone. So keep that in mind. The reason that tolerance zone is in the law is, it's going to sound obvious, is heavy equipment has more of a risk to damage or getting somebody hurt than hand digging within that area. There is the once everything is exposed, supported, and protected, you can bring in some equipment, but keep in mind the hand digging for all the discovery for the tolerance zone is huge. And then also pipelines may have company specific tolerance zones. Those locators or those companies are going to communicate that with you when there's a locate request in their area. They may show up and say, yeah, I don't want any heavy equipment within 4 feet of that facility. So there'll be some discussion on that, but that's between the excavator and the member company in that area. So to recap today's message, there's 5 steps of safer excavation. First of all, contact us. Let us know that digging is going to take place. Give us the required time, which is at least 3 business days, right? Or no more than 10 business days. You're going to want to confirm the response from all the utility operators. Make sure that they've all put down painter flags, or they've all emailed or called you if they're clear of the area, or if you need to be, or if they need to be on site while excavation is taking place. Of course, respect the markings. This is where you verify the buried utilities. Make sure they are where they are supposed to be. Make sure you're understanding the tolerance zone and how that works. And then once the project begins, we would all hope that you're digging safely. Real quick story, when it comes to all of A11, I'm very honest and transparent that OKIE811 is a member-driven company, right? Our utility companies are the ones who are paying for our operation costs. They're also the ones who are, taking care of my salary. So there is that aspect of it, but and so when it comes to the utility companies, we're talking about the damage prevention and making sure that nothing happens to the underground line, that water line, that communication line, that gas line, or electric line. All those things are extremely important. And on a selfish standpoint, I can tell you that I want to be able to take a shower. I want to watch the OU game this weekend. I want to be able to work from home and have the internet and electric available to me, right? Those are all true. We can also talk about the neighbor who is elderly and when it was cold needed that heat. I can talk about the person who has a medical condition and needs to be able to call the hospital or an ambulance if necessary. So all those things are very, very true about why damage prevention is so important, because you don't want to disrupt a company being able to provide those services to people who need them, right? All makes sense. But ultimately, the reason that I do this job and ultimately the reason that we go out and promote A11 and safe digging is not because of any of those things. Those things are there, but more importantly is the safety and life of our excavators who are doing the work in these areas. So when it comes to digging safely, even though that's the last thing on the list, it's the most important. We want every excavator to be able to finish their job and then go home, take care of their families, and then come back to work the next day. So I just want to stress that if my messaging ever comes across anything other than caring about those who are doing the excavation, please please be aware that that is the most important thing to us, is just making sure that safety is there. So damage prevention is a collaborative effort. It starts with our facility owners and locators. They're the ones who are going to communicate where those underground lines are, whether it's through public awareness, through their locating services, through their public awareness mailings and advertisements on their websites. When you go to pay your bill, you can see where A11 is, right? Then it's the excavators, those who are doing the work, understanding the importance of keeping themselves safe as well as protecting the underground facility. So all that is there as well. And then there's OKIE811, myself, my team, as well as the whole company, even our CSRs, all have a responsibility to provide the best service we can to provide safety and damage prevention services throughout the state. So I want to say thanks. If you have any questions or if you feel like we overlooked something or anything like that, feel free to shoot me an email. My email address is really easy. It's just the word education@OKIE811.org. And I do want to make one suggestion to you, and that is go and check out our 811 certification. This is an online program. You go to OKIE811.training. So just like OKIE811.org, it's the word training. It will take you to our online program. It takes about an hour and a half if you go straight through it. And then there's a 3 chapters to cover and then 25 question test at the end. And anytime you take that test, once you pass with the 80% or greater, you get a certificate. And this is really helpful just to make sure that you understand the big picture of OKIE811 and everything that is there. So doesn't look like we have any questions. Hey, Renee, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Yay. Is there anything that you want to add as far as, because looking over our attendees, obviously they all do work for ONG, and I was wondering if you had any thing you want to add before we close out today.
So sometimes we aren't always completely responsive, or maybe our locators miss something. And so it's really important that you give us a call or an email, and we will try to assist you with that rather than just going ahead and digging. So especially if it's like a late ticket and you haven't seen the locator, contact us and we'll push that through and make sure that we get somebody out there to assist you, rather than just kind of potholing everywhere or wasting your time doing that. We want to help you.
Yeah, and that's crucial. The whole second notice, whether you're giving us a call first or you're using your contacts back at ONG, regardless of the company, second notices are huge. It's an opportunity for those companies who hire out a third party that they have record saying, hey, this third party is missing the mark on a couple locates here and there. And it's also obviously going to be there for your CYA move so that you can show, hey, I am making every effort to stay safe in this area. They didn't get here the first time around. I made another phone call. So you're doing that as well. So with that, I do want to say thank you one more time to everybody. If you think of anything or you have anything that comes up after this webinar, feel free to email me, or you can always reach out to Renee as well. If you have any questions, let us know. We'll be happy to help out. So with that, yeah, thanks for joining us today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, everybody.
All right.